If you were to sum up, what does holistic wellness mean / represent to you, how would you describe that?
I would describe it in one word, and that's oneness. Becoming whole, holistic, oneness, alignment, aligning the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, and the physical. And once these things are aligned, I believe that harmony comes into play. And when there's harmony, there's health. So, that's my tagline, that's my punchline. Where there's harmony, there's health.
Right.
So it's just about you becoming one with yourself, with nature, with your fellow brothers and sisters, with humanity as a whole, with the universe, inner and outer universe, and just fine-tuning yourself, and that's what it's about, just becoming one. And I believe when you become one with yourself to the utmost, healing can be maintained, can be, your body can rejuvenate from this oneness, and not just your body, but on the soul level.
Facts.
Yes.
Because in society, well, especially in America, it's a lot of separatism and individualism, and they give us this, this idea that we aren't connected, or our problems is just our problems. Like, I was talking to one of my friends today, and I shared something with her, and she was like, I'm glad you shared that, because looking at you, I wouldn't think that you're going through this. And it's like, I tell people all the time, we got similar problems, or we're going through the same things, just at different times.
Sure.
But everybody feel alone because we don't have these conversations and communicate on an open scale or on a large basis. So it's like, that wholeness and that oneness is so important to connect with your fellow brothers and sisters, because you could drop a gem or you could share something that could help them in the situation that they're going through.
That's what it's about. That's right.
Hello, beautiful friends and family. We are here again with the master herbalist, Chris himself. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, brother.
Great.
Out here getting this fresh air, getting this sweet holy breath, this prana out here, vibing with my good friend.
Yes, sir.
I can't be happy.
Sir. I know that's right. Okay. So for the folks that's not too familiar with you, they finna get familiar with you. But can you tell the people a little about yourself, like the evolution of you, how you got into health and wellness, and just your journey in general?
Yeah. So I come from a heavy background, since a youth. I had to stay up on my health because both my older brother, who's 10 years older than me, and my older sister, who's 7 years older than me, they had juvenile diabetes. So as a youth, 3 to 4 years old on up, I had my mom, testing my urine, checking my ketones, my urine, making sure I wasn't diabetic. And I didn't understand, you 3 or 4 years old, your mom rushing you to the bathroom, and all the time, even though I was potty trained, having, me pee in this little cup, I didn't know what was going on. But she was just making sure that my blood sugar levels were, accurate, and no protein in my urine, nothing like abnormal going on with my kidneys or my blood sugar. And then you see like your grandparents and family members dealing with health issues, and that kind of like wakes you up early. Back in 2001, I had a unique scare with no medical proof or background, but I had a lot of GI issues going on. My freshman year at college, I was losing weight, vomiting often, couldn't keep my food was going straight through me. And always fatigued. So when I went to the doctors, they didn't do no major tests. They just went off my basic symptoms, and they said, son, you might have cancer. And that shook and sent a lower vibration through the core of my body. When you hear that word word, and I was only 17, and I refused to let that vibration, set in my mind. More than the word or the actual disease, it felt like it was a vibration they was trying to attach to me, like cancer, that energy,
the
and reality, the fear, and everything that comes along with it, which I think actually is the biggest part that affects people.
For sure.
More than the disease is just the vibration and what it does to the intellect, the psyche.
Yeah.
You know, and you spiritually, you know, you hear that word and we kind of create that doomsday in our own mind, and your mind, where the mind goes, the body tends to follow. So, you know, I started changing my diet. I was drinking at a young age, you know, taking double shots here, drinking here, you know, smoking heavy, you know, drinking cow's milk. You know, they lied to us. You know, they said milk does the body good. You remember those commercials? Like, they used to say milk does the body good.
Bones, good for your bones.
You get strong muscles.
Yeah.
They had the little milk mustache, and you know,
All the athletes promoting it.
No, they had our favorite athletes, you know, drinking the milk, promoting it, and you thinking if you do this, you'll be where they at one day.
Right.
You know, and we believed it. So, but that just led me down a crazy path, and you know, my health, once the health is gone, it's difficult to get back. So from that, you know, I cut a lot of things out my diet, cut back, and, you know, eliminated the tobacco, the Black and Milds, the Cajun cigarettes, and, you know, all the self-destructive things that I was doing. That you're young and things aren't taught to you.
Right.
You know, you're just going off what you see, you know, your peers and older people doing, and you know, you think it's a lifestyle that we all should be living, but actually it's a lifestyle that is self-destructive and, you know, deteriorating my health from the inside out. So from there, from my first year at college to my first senior year at college, I did 2 years, 2 senior years at Cheney University.
Okay.
But back in 2005, I came back to the city, and I was just happening to walk with one of my good friends, and down University City, 40th and Market, I came across a herb shop, and an angel appeared, Dr. Perlman, shout out to the goddess, right? She invited me in, and I seen something that I never seen before, and I thought it was, you know, quack science, and it was a brother taking his finger and touching the clients in different parts of the body, and you seen people's body reflect. I'm like, what is this? Like, what's this hocus pocus? Like, what's this herb stuff y'all talking about?
Right.
So she was like, no, this is advanced kinesiology. Advanced kinesiology? First of all, what's kinesiology? She's like, kinetics. You heard of potential energy, you know, when things are instilled, you know, then you have kinetic energy when things are in motion. So I'm like, damn, she just broke some science down, like, you know, potential and kinetic energy.
Right.
So basically it was just muscle testing, reflexes of the body, how the body responds to different acupressure points in the body that's giving you information about what's going on with inside of your body. Non-invasive techniques, never heard of it. So they offered me classes at Dr. Wise University Herbs. I was just 21 years old, brother. You know, none of my peers, nobody I knew was into herbs, talking about herbs. You know, it wasn't a big thing. It's just something that elders talk about, older people. So I had the grand opportunity of studying under the world famous Dr. Wyatt. He offered us classes, so I took classes under Dr. Wyatt. Got certified in body systems, body works, nutrition, and iridology, which I'm about to start doing more for the community, basically looking into the iris of the eye. And so I sat under Dr. White, gained my certificates. From Dr. White's, I went to Pollock's and interned with Mr. Pollock on Broad and Nedro, and spent like a year under him just learning about herbs, you know, because when I studied under Dr. Wyatt, I just learned the philosophy and different techniques, but really didn't learn about herbs, even though that's part of his coursework. So so when I went to Pollock's, that's when I had my hands-on experience, you know, learning the herbs. And so I had, from a young age, I just had the opportunity to study under and practice under a lot of elders. You know, and I was the baby out the bunch, and they were trying to transfer and put that knowledge in the baby, so maybe one day I can pass it on to the future generations. That was over 15 years ago.
Wow.
So then Dr. Wyatt called me back, was like, Chris, what are you doing? Like, come back home. So he brought me back, and you know, seafood, he's a seafood. Dr. Wyatt was a master at Wing Chun, martial arts. So he invited me to learn some martial arts, and then he kind of Mr. Miyagi me. You know, remember Mr. Miyagi was a grandmaster, had Daniel's son like
wax on, wax off.
So he started me from the bottom. You know, I'm thinking when you invite me in, you're gonna put me on the floor, have me upstairs with everybody. He started me from the bottom. When I didn't see no clients, no customers, and I was in the chamber. You know, and locked up in the chamber, learning how to make herbal formulas, working with one brother who barely talked to me for hours a day, and he just said, make this formula, here's this, put this here and this. And I just had the opportunity to have hands-on experience watching somebody and being taught hands-on how to make formulas, what goes with what, how the formulas were made to cleanse the blood, support the renal system, to cleanse the liver, to help eliminate waste from the GI tract, from the colon, you name it, Dr. Wyatt had it. And he was so advanced, so way ahead of his time, that he started dealing with energy work, you know, not just the physical body, but dealing with energy work. So initially when I came into the holistic realm, I was already familiar with what they call Reiki, and I didn't know it was a word called Reiki. I was just learning, working with my own energies and forces, and you know, trying to remove people's pain, like toothaches and ankle pains, and people was like, "Oh, that really worked." So then once I came to Dr. Wyatt's, I was introduced to, like, you know, different healing modalities such as Reiki, and I was like, wow, I was already doing it. So from the basement, he brought me up to the back room, and I was just loading up basic herbs, you know, a pound of red clover, an ounce of burdock root, just bagging it up. Still didn't see the customers. That was a whole 8 months later. Then about 4 or 5 months later, he finally put me on this floor, and that's when I actually got hands-on training from, at that time, I believe was Philadelphia's best herbalist, you know, holistic community, you know. And he put me on the floor, they trained me, allowed me to use my skills, you know, my iridology, my advanced kinesiology, my body works, my nutrition. And they actually trained me on how to work with the clients, how to assess the people, how to ask the right questions, how to just really communicate with people and just listen. You know, in this healing world, you know, it's not so much about you just talking all the time. It's you actively listening and filling out what the person has to tell you, and listening to what the person's not speaking. So they just trained me, you know, and after that I just started working with the clients hands-on. It was lines from early morning from the front desk all the way outside. So we had a long full day of actively healing the community. Yes.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
So that was, you know, just the start, just the beginning.
To give y'all a little backstory, I met this young gentleman, OG, through this program that I was going to, Trace for a Difference. Shout out to Jordan and Miguel. Basically, Jordan, he wants to see, like, the young people in the community start their own businesses, and whatever you're good at, he wants to put his resources behind you to make a business out of it and make it happen. So he introduced me to Chris, and I was like, let me bring my people's nodula into the mix. And basically we was working on starting like a smoothie shop / business, and it was all in the works, but it didn't, you know, it didn't pan out. But that doesn't mean that it's still not, you know, that we don't have work to do together, because here we are today having this conversation, and further things, just from that introduction, further things can come from that. So I'm real big on introducing my people to, you know, my circle, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of what we doing here.
And it was just like, after that, you know, how many times did we run into each other after that? Like,
facts.
It had to be over like between 5 and 10 times, just always seeing each other, just pulling up. Yo, what's up, bro?
Yeah,
Like,
right around the way.
parties everywhere, man. We just kept
Yeah.
seeing each other all throughout the city.
That's a fact.
Confirmations, bro.
Divine.